Welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of the Market Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined today by Chad Big Bad Johnson, Dane Hernandez, and James DeShanti. We today will be picking our winners for the upcoming AEW pay-per-view, Full Gear. 10 matches on the card, including a pre-show match, so lots to get to. We'll jump right in it after I break my phone. So first match, which was added on Dynamite, will be Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter against Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa. Danny, we'll go to you first.
Cool. We don't got to spend a lot of time on this. The faces are going to win.
Good insight. Chad?
I agree. Shida and Rosa.
James, who you got?
I think the winners will be Shida and Rosa, and the losers are going to be the fans that still want a women's tag team title in AEW.
AKA James.
Yes.
Oh, man, I just feel so bad if you still haven't gotten that yet. I, too, will take the faces here and complete the sweep. The pre-show match, they tend to have the faces go over, get the crowd hyped. So that usually makes sense for me. And I don't know, I do feel some shenanigans afterwards, though. I don't know, maybe it's not clean. But
how are we doing in the TBS tournament? Are like all four women are still in the tournament, and like when is that continuing?
I wish you didn't ask me a question I don't know the answer
Fair
to.
enough. Fair enough.
Somebody wants to look that up while we're continuing here, because I'm reading all these matches off my laptop. You can.
It's not that important. It's not that important. Yeah.
All right. Awkward transition to the next match. Also announced today on Dynamite, we have Pac and Cody Rhodes against Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. Interesting tag teams there, but at least some history with Black and Andrade. Still should be an absolute banger of a match. James, who you got?
I want Andrade and Malachi to win. I think Cody and Pac are going to win. It feels really weird to have Cody working with Death Triangle after he feuded with Penta just a couple months ago. Feuded. Yeah, right? But
I forgot.
It was like a 2-week thing only on Dynamite. And I don't know. I think they booked themselves into a weird nobody wins situation. And I don't know what the end game is for this Andrade Malachi team up, but they're guys with chemistry at the very least. They worked very well together in the past in NXT, so I think they'll do good here. So I'm going to say the good guys are winning. Good guy.
I assume that means Cody and Pac, but
yeah, right.
I think with this feud, it kind of depends on who you end up talking to. So I was just making sure for the record. Danny, what do you think goes on here?
I think it's gonna be fun. I could see the good guys winning. Again, good guys. One of them's name is a bastard, and the other one gets booed by the crowd. So good guys. But actually, I'm going to take Malachi and Andrade because they need it more. Cody doesn't need it. Pac kind of needs it, but he'll be all right. So, yeah, Malachi and Andrade.
Chad?
All right. I'll start this off by saying that two of the guys in this match I am not 100% sold on. And they're on different teams, so that kind of fucks up my prediction a little bit. I love Pac. I'm not 100% sold on Cody as of now. He's a good wrestler, but I don't know. He's kind of lackluster to me. I love Malachi. Everybody knows Andrade I'm indifferent on him. I do feel like Malachi and Andrade need this more than Pac and Cody. Well, Pac needs it as well. Damn.
Yeah, this is not an easy one. I think James is right saying that that they really booked themselves into a corner with all
Yeah,
of this.
it is a corner. Absolutely. I'll go with the faces this one time, just because when in doubt, pick a face.
I'm gonna take Black and Andrade here. It just seems to make a little more sense with me, and just running it through my head, I feel Cody is the best person to eat the pin here. And then if you really want to, you can have Pac get pissed at him and they can feud or just whatever. Just get Black and Andrade away from Cody and maybe even away from Pac too, depending on what they want to do with the Lucha Brothers and FTR and everything. But we will get to that in a bit. Moving on now.
Wait. I think the real question with this match is, does Arn Anderson whip out the clock?
It's pay-per-view.
I'm gonna go no. The last time, I don't want to say the last time, but the biggest time I can remember somebody using a gun was that what was that? Somebody invading Stone Cold's home or something like that. Yeah, was that Pillman?
Yep.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well, so I'm not sure gunplay would work. And it's also in Minneapolis, so that might not be the best place to do it after the last year and a half.
I think the bigger question is who would win, Arn Anderson with the Glock or Triple H with the sledgehammer?
Arn Anderson.
Is Triple H going to block the bullets with a sledgehammer?
I mean, have you seen
Really?
Triple H's sledgehammer work? Like,
I know it's gotten smaller over like the last decade.
I mean, as men get older, their bodies change. Thank you, Danny. High five on that one. That was good.
Well, 1 out of 5. All right. Next match we have on the card here is Christian Cage and Jurassic Express against the Super Click. Pretty excited about this match just because I want to watch the Super Click back together again against some legit opponents. Plus, Jungle Boy is awesome, and he's growing out the beard. So, to borrow a phrase from John Moxley, they're probably only going to get more female viewers with that. Danny, what do you think is going to happen in this match?
So I'm kind of torn because I feel like this is being set up for Jurassic Express and Christian to win.
Before you pick, I should note it is a Falls Count Anywhere's match. Yeah. So that does change things a bit.
I feel like it's being set up for them to win, but I don't want them to win unless it's Luchasaurus getting the pin.
Yep.
But I love Christian, but like he needs to start eating some more pins right now. But Jungle Boy eats too many pins, even though he has the most wins because he's the first one that gets 50. Like he still loses a lot of the big matches, or pretty much all of the big matches. So like it makes sense for them to win. Like Adam Cole is on the other team, so I just think that they're gonna win. So I'm gonna go with the Super Click. Adam Cole pins Jungle Boy to continue their feud, and so they can have a singles match because they have no problem pinning Jungle Boy, even though it'd be cool if you pin Christian. I think Christian should take the pin, but anyway, Super Click.
Chad?
I actually think Adam Cole takes his first L here. I am Team Luchasaurus. I don't think he'll get the pin, but I would like for him to. It makes sense for Super Click to win, but then it also makes sense for Christian and Jurassic Express to win as they're building Jungle Boy up the way they are. Yeah, when in doubt, go face.
Also, Danny, for the record, I believe Jungle Boy is up to 64 wins after tonight. I think he had 63 coming into the night, if I remember Tony Schiavone correctly. James, what do you got?
This is probably the biggest question mark for me, and I think the winner of this match impacts the winner of the main event. I agree with Danny. It feels like they're setting up for Jurassic Express and Christian Cage to win, but I just don't see the Super Click losing either in a way that makes sense. I mean, Adam Cole took a friggin' concerto and came back to wrestle 2 days later. They can't kill him. The Elite already did. He's immortal now. I don't know. I'm going to go Super Click, but this could go either way. And if they don't bring out Marco Stunt, what's the point?
Yeah, I miss Marco being on
Stunt versus
TV.
Brandon Cutler. Okay.
Oh, I would watch the shit out of that match. Oh my god. It'll be like it'll be better than WeLC.
That might be
That's a bold
that-
statement.
It might be the match that kills Jim Cornette.
Finally has that corner. I think the falls count anywhere nature of this match gives the Super Click the edge here. They're gonna cheat somehow, and they're probably gonna end up winning that way. And because that's what they do now, you know, they're those guys where they're good enough to win straight up, but they don't have to, so they just won't. And that's what makes them the bad guys. So yeah, Super Click here, no doubt. All right, one of the matches I'm most looking forward to on this card, CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. I've never seen a match get so much hype in so short of time with so short a build. Is awesome. Chad, who you got?
Everybody knows I absolutely adore and love Philip. With that being said, Eddie Kingston has to win this match for me. Has to. I don't see a way out of this for Punk with a W. He doesn't need it. He just doesn't need it. Eddie. I'm going Eddie.
James?
It's weird. If the stuff with Mox didn't happen, I would have predicted a Punk win and an Eddie heel turn. But now things have shifted a little bit, and I don't think we're going to see the Punk heel turn yet, but I think Eddie's going to hand Punk his first loss in AEW.
And Danny?
Oof. I mean, I think Punk's gonna win. I would love if Eddie won. I wouldn't be mad about it. But I think it's too abrupt for the slow story they're telling of Punk, like shaking off the ring rust and realizing how tough it is right now, and how much he's realizing that he might be in over his head and people might be out of his league. And I think they're telling that story at a certain pace. And this Eddie Kingston stuff is flying at a completely different pace from the story he's been telling. So I also think Eddie Kingston is, again, one of those few people that, yeah, he doesn't really need a lot of wins. He can be a Tommy Dreamer like person and, you know, never win the big one, and we'd all still love him. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stick with Punk, but I'm not gonna be upset if Eddie Kingston wins.
You know, if you asked me this question after last week's Dynamite, I would have said Punk. After Rampage, I'm really, really leaning Eddie here. I think after that promo on Rampage, it has to be him, in my opinion. Like, I see the story where if Punk wins, and I mean, you could even continue the feud past this. But like I said, I could see the story for Punk past this. But Eddie just looks so much better in that promo. Like, not even necessarily like in terms of like mic work, just in terms of he looks like the good guy, even though he should be the bad guy. And I just think him getting the win there would just mean so much more, especially with that article in the Players Tribune coming out. Like it, and like what James said with everything going on with Moxley and their connection, there's just this perfect storm around Eddie winning this match right now that even if the plan was for Punk to win, I think they should change it and make Eddie win. So I'm taking Eddie, even though I can easily see Punk winning this match.
I think no matter what, Eddie looks good coming out of it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Like, I think even if he takes the loss, I think this is probably going to be Eddie's biggest match in AEW. And he's already had some very big matches, but I think this is going to really set the trajectory of where he goes for a long time.
Yeah, and he just had a banger with Bryan a couple weeks ago. So the dude is way hot right now. He's been way hot since he got in the company, but he's out even a different stratosphere. So whatever happens, I'm going to enjoy what goes on with Eddie past this. All right. Next match we got is Darby Allen versus MJF. Obviously, those people will be accompanied by Sting and Wardlow, respectively. James, what do you think about this matchup between two of the pillars of AEW?
God, what I would do for an easy one.
Oh, you're not getting that on this card.
You're right. I'm going to give it to MJF. I think as good as it would be to see Darby get the win, I think they're going to be career rivals as long as they're in AEW. I think they're going to be feuding over the World Championship. I think they're going to be feuding for years and years to come. And I think that feud is deepened if MJF has the edge, the upper hand on Darby. So I think MJF is going to take this first win through some very nefarious means. But yeah, MJF takes this one and then Darby gets it down the road.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely could see them, all four of those guys that MJF mentioned in that first promo, just being rivals for the entirety of their careers, which will be awesome. And I very much look forward to that. Danny?
So, I mean, this one, again, like James said, if only we had some easy ones. But I kind of feel almost the exact opposite, where MJF already has that, like James was saying, like with the other pillars. Like he already beat Jungle Boy multiple times. He already beat Sammy. Like he already has that mental edge, that one up already with them. So I would like it if it was the other way around with Darby, where Darby is the one who has one up on him, and that grinds MJF and that kills him. And the only reason the feud ever reignites or continues is because MJF is the one who needs it, is the one who can't let it go. So I think it would be good for this one to go the opposite way. And, this is kind of why both men shouldn't have lost matches at the last pay-per-view, and why MJF shouldn't have lost to Jericho, because, they're both coming off pay-per-view losses, and I don't like when that happens. I don't like people who both lost at a pay-per-view fighting at the next pay-per-view because one of them has to lose. But I'm going to pick Darby. I wasn't sure about this one, but yeah, I'm going to pick Darby because, like I said, I think it's something new for MJF's character as opposed to him having the same one-upsmanship he has on the other pillars. So I'll go Darby.
That was well said. You got in my head now. I'm not sure. I'm going to stick with my pick, but that was a good way of thinking about it.
He honestly,
it's because of what you said that really, really made me think about it like that. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going Darby now.
Gotcha.
he got in my head too, to be honest. But we'll get to me in a second. Chad, what do you think here?
I'm also brainwashed. Danny Omega over here made me rethink it. I didn't know at first. Again, this is super hard, but I am also kind of leaning towards Darby. I think, no offense to Darby, but I think MJF is just greater in so many other aspects that I think Darby might need this one a little bit more. And MJF, even if he loses, he doesn't lose. So I kind of feel like Darby might need it more. I'll give it to Darby.
My thing with this match was MJF is so damn protected. Like he only has a handful of losses on his record and even fewer singles losses, that I genuinely couldn't figure out I genuinely couldn't consider him losing to Darby until Danny spoke, and now he's all up in my head too. And with the way this match was built, with MJF trying to get in Darby's head and then being unable to do so, and then MJF saying that Darby is of just a tool of violence and recklessness within the ring, and he's actually not a good wrestler, and Darby setting out to prove him wrong. I think Darby ends up doing that, and I think Darby does prove him wrong and ends up beating MJF despite my better instincts. I really don't know. Just because of MJF's booking his entire time, it's hard for me to see, but Danny talked me into it, and I think I'm going to take Darby here.
Damn it. Damn it.
If only I went first, I would have had all of you.
You honestly, I think you might have. Now I feel like I can't go back on what I said because somebody's got to be rooting for MJF. Not that I'm rooting for MJF. I'm rooting for Darby. But damn it, Danny.
Nobody's rooting for MJF. Did you see TMZ got kayfabed and they put up an article about MJF's parents were getting into it with him again, and I think MJF called his mother a piece of shit somewhere.
It's like other stuff.
And TMZ ran with it like it was actually fucking real. Oh God, kayfabe is alive and well, everybody, and I love it.
I think the thing is, and I'm holding on to my argument. I think if we're operating under the assumption that we're skipping ahead a little bit, but maybe that Hangman wins, I think an MJF win keeps him in title contention.
See, I also was thinking that, but now since we have this tournament to decide the next number one contender, we have plenty of time for MJF to just
let it breathe and he
up
could
the
come
ranks.
right back. Yep, I agree.
He also feels like a guy who a lot of people want him to take the title off of Hangman if Hangman wins. So
me especially, I've said it so many times in our group chat that he not only will he do it, he'll do it right away, and MJF will have, or Hangman will have a short title reign.
Yeah, but they might have to extend his title reign a little bit if Darby wins, just so they could build MJF back up. But
yeah,
but that could also go to James's point too, where maybe MJF does take it just to keep him right there.
God, how cool is it? How cool is it to watch a pay-per-view and have mystery, but like be excited about the mystery? Like anybody could win and either option is good.
Yeah, we have no idea what the fuck's going to happen, and it's amazing. All right, let's move along here. First title match so far tonight, and at least in our show. We have the Lucha Brothers, obviously the AEW World Tag Team Champions. They will be defending those titles against the AAA Tag Team Champions, FTR. Danny, what set of champions do you have winning this match?
This one is not as much of a toss-up, even though I can see it going either way. But I'm going more with what I want to happen than what I think is going to happen, and I'm going with FTR. I think we need some more two-time champions, you know? Like, I don't like having this feeling that once someone loses their title, that, like, that's it, because AEW's roster is so stacked that it feels like once your title runs over, like, we got a lot of other people we have to get to. So, like, you know, Jericho lost his title, and it's like he's never going to be champion again. I'm fine with that in Jericho's case, but it's like I don't like having that feeling that he'll never be champion again. I don't actually want him to be champion again, but I'd like to think it's a possibility. Mm-hmm. So, like, we need more two-time champions to, like, establish that. I know Cody was, but, like, I'm not gonna say mean things about Cody because I still like him, but, like, you know, we need some more. And I think FTR is definitely the first tag team that should be two-time champions. They like just go all in on them, you know, prop up the Pinnacle, let them have some titles in the group, or if you want to count them as like adjacent members of the House of Black, they're associates of the House of Black's associate in a way. So yeah, I'm just gonna go FTR because I think it's better if they win, not because I think it's cut and dry.
All right, Chad, who you got?
I'm going Lucha Brothers. Everything Danny said almost got in my head again.
Wasn't trying to this time. But...
However,
why do you think I went to him first?
However, I stick by the Lucha Brothers. Literally, it seems like they just won the titles yesterday. It's been what, a solid month and a half, if even that. I feel like they're on a good trajectory after their win over the Young Bucks anyway. Yeah, I'm going Lucha.
James?
Sorry, Danny, but I'm going with Chad on this one. I think Lucha Bros take the win and retain simply because losing 2 sets of tag titles to FTR is pretty damn bad for any team. Not to losing to FTR is bad because they're incredible, but losing 2 sets of tag titles in 2 straight defenses to the same team is very damaging, I think. And even if the Lucha Bros get a rematch right away and take either the AAA tag or the AEW tag belts back, I think the damage is done at that point. It feels very similar to when Christian beat Kenny for the Impact title. It's like, I don't like take away that it was Christian versus Kenny, but that almost took all of the suspense out of the possibility of Christian winning the AEW title away from Kenny. So I think the same thing applies here. I think FTR are going to do more with the AAA belts, and it's going to be a little bit before we see Lucha Bros drop the tag titles to somebody else.
I agree with you guys that I think it's way more likely that Lucha Bros win. Like I said, I just want FTR to win, but also because of what you said, like, maybe since they just did that with Christian and Kenny where they had him split it, maybe this time we'll just have one team win both instead of doing 50-50 booking, 50-50 booking's also damaging.
It's true. That is true.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I'm just picking FTR because I think it's more fun if they win.
It is definitely a more interesting choice. Like it does open up a lot more possibilities for FTR, but I just don't want to see the Lucha Bros get buried.
Yeah. I think for both of the reasons that Chad and James said, I'm also going to pick the Lucha Brothers. They haven't had the titles long enough, in my opinion, to lose yet, and losing another pair of titles right after they just lost the AAA titles, like James said, it's damaging. It's not a good look, and unless the AEW, I know we kind of mentioned this before, where the Lucha Brothers don't really tend to sign long contracts unless there's something there with that, and that's rampant speculation. Like, I have no basis for that. I just don't see them losing them this fast. That's just my opinion.
See, damn it. Now Danny did get in my head like a friggin' earworm because I'm still going with Lucha Bros. Let me put that out there. Lucha Bros. But they did get a lot of defenses in a short amount of time. There was like that 3-4 week period where they were on Rampage like every week defending the tag titles.
Yeah, they were always on Rampage.
So it's like if they do lose the belts in a short amount of time, they can still say, well, look how many defenses they had. God damn it.
Damn, I hate Danny now.
Damn it, Danny. Coming up with a point that wasn't even yours, but still somehow making me think you're right. I'm still sticking with Lucha Bros.
Me as well.
I really wasn't trying to change your guys' minds on this one.
All right, moving on to the next match here. We have a Minneapolis street fight, which they're billing as the first Minneapolis street fight because all the other street fights were not in Minneapolis. Excuse me. So we have the Inner Circle, obviously led by Chris Jericho, against Men of the Year and American Top Team, consisting of MMA fighters Junior Dos Santos and Andrei Arlovsky, and the founder of American Top Team, Dan Lambert, who, as we all know, is Fat Face Dipshit. So, James, who do you think will win this street fight?
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. Oh my god.
Dan Lambert's actually probably pretty chill dude. It's just the chance, and yeah, keeping kayfabe.
It's still real, damn it. I don't know, because it's like if America's Top Team is going to stick around, they should get the win. They should get the win, but I don't think they are. I'm going to give it to the Inner Circle just because I feel like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky being in that match is designed for them to take the pin. So I'm going to give it to the Inner Circle, but again, I'll be honest, as good as Lambert is, I don't care. I'm kind of just ready for this feud to be over.
All right. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I do enjoy Lambert, but yeah, I think he's kind of running his course. Chad, what do you think?
I think the shenanigans win. It's absolutely going to be. It's going to be entertaining as hell, but I'm going with James in the circle. I think this ends the feud. We can swing the men of the year to somebody else. It just makes sense.
Danny?
Oh man, James really got in my head with all the stuff he said about people or whatever. It's bullshit that Paige Van Zandt isn't in this match. She should be in this match, and she should have been the one pinning Jericho. But
you hate Chris Jericho.
What?
You hate Chris Jericho.
I love Chris Jericho. I don't know. I think Paige Van Zandt cut a good promo, and I was like, oh, she should be in this match. It's kind of, but also, I don't like how AEW skirts around intergender like matches. Not that they don't do them, but that like Chris Statlander will come out with the best friends when they're about to fight a group, but she doesn't fight anyone, and it's like, oh, okay, well, why did she come out? You know, but
I don't know. She chokes out Wheeler Yuta every week, so
I know. So why do that on
BTE?
TV?
BTE. It's not run by Tony Khan.
But yeah, Inner Circle, because who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, Lambert doesn't have to win, even though I think it'd be hilarious if he pins Jericho. Like, it doesn't matter who wins, because either way, Lambert's gonna cut a bitter promo the week after.
I also take back what I said before. I guess my brain was just having trouble with Lambert being in the match. He's in the match to take the pin, right? He's in the match to tap out to Jericho.
No, you got to protect Lambert. You got to protect Lambert. Scorpio Sky's right there. You know.
James, I was gonna say the same thing. There's literally a guy in this match who's there to take a pin, and it's Dan Lambert. I will give you the benefit of the doubt. We are recording this at 2:00 in the morning, and we're all probably
taking a pin. He's submitting.
Oh yeah, he's gonna tap out and then come out on Dynamite wearing like a full body cast, still shit talking Jericho.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, his like legs, and he's gonna look like the guy from SpongeBob. Every morning I break my legs, and every night I break my arms. Yeah, it's the Inner Circle. Like, it's gonna be really cool watching some of these MMA guys, especially Dos Santos, get in there and mix it up. I thought Dos Santos did a pretty good job in his last tag match, and he even took a table spot, which was cool. But those guys will get knocked out of the way somehow, and then Men of the Year will be out of the way somehow, and it'll be Lambert versus Jericho, and it'll be hopefully the culmination of this feud. The last time they had Lambert cornered, they all ended up getting jumped. So I think it would make sense to end the feud this way, and it'll be fun, and it'll be a street fight. So there'll be a lot of carnage, and I bet you Danny Paige Van Zandt does get involved. She's gonna knock somebody the fuck out with something. So it'll be cool. All right, let's move along here to the final of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. We have Bryan Danielson against late entry Miro. This is going to be, to borrow a phrase, a slobber knocker of a match.
I like slobber of a knocker. I like
slobber of a knocker. Knockers are getting slobbered off.
Yes, my brain got a little ahead of myself there. Take two.
It's late. It's late. Like you said, you gave me the benefit. I'm going to give it to you.
Take two. To borrow a phrase, this will be a slobber knocker of a match. Chad, who do you think will win it?
Damn, I feel really shitty having both of these legendary wrestlers lose, but I'm giving this to Miro. Which means Bryan Danielson and CM Punk take the L, I think. Damn, that doesn't sound right saying, but I'm just going with my gut instinct.
Danny, who do you think is going to win?
Pass.
The rare third door that everyone forgets about.
The true forbidden door.
James, who you got? No, okay, Danny, seriously, come on.
Oh god, it's so tough.
It's okay.
I
Nobody on the internet's going to hold you to your pick and ridicule you if you're wrong.
I mean, I might, but I'm gonna go the opposite of Chad, and I'm gonna pick both the legends so that, you know, if one of them loses, one of them wins. Like I'm covered to go 50-50 on it. So yeah, I'll go Bryan Danielson because it just WWE always has the replacement win. So maybe AEW won't because they're already telling the story. But
WWE also would have Bryan Danielson win in this situation.
No, they would 100% have the replacement win. They had Daniel Bryan lose to Rusev in a Money in the Bank qualified match. Like, so they will totally do that. But because this also ties in to, you know, our main event picks, I think.
Get out of my head.
So it's kind of tough. I feel like my pick here is not going to correlate with my pick in the main event.
Yeah, because
so,
does Bryan Danielson go directly to the title?
If he wins,
that's very WWE.
The way it tends to work is whoever wins these type of tournaments. Like, so when Kenny won his tournament last year, he then had his title match in December on an episode of Dynamite. So presumably we're looking at the same thing, although I wouldn't be shocked if they hold off until the January 5th episode, which is the first episode on TBS.
Yeah. It'd be that, or I imagine they might do it at Winter is Coming if they do Winter is Coming again. Though both of those make sense.
Yeah.
But then, James, who do you think will win and go on to face the AEW champion? Danny was pick.
Yeah, I did say Bryan Danielson. I'm just like, it flies in the face of a lot of other picks, and I really don't know. But yeah, go ahead, James.
Pass.
Great call. Great call.
All right, because I said I had Punk losing, I'm gonna say Bryan here, just because I can't imagine both Punk and Bryan losing on the same night. And I think my big thing is, my two reasons for picking Bryan legit are Bryan just debuted at the last pay-per-view. And if you're somebody who watched that pay-per-view or heard about that pay-per-view and then watched Bryan in these episodes of Dynamite and Rampage racking up wins, if you decide then that this is going to be the first pay-per-view that you buy, or you want to follow up on buying it because of the last pay-per-view, I think it's weird to have Bryan lose in his pay-per-view debut.
Damn, that's such a good point.
Not that they wouldn't do it, but I feel like it's a weird thing to do.
No, that's a great point. Shit.
And you know what? Because that just made me think with Punk, I kept saying how he's telling the story of him shaking off the ring rust and him maybe realizing that he's not the best in the world anymore and trying to figure out whether he can still do this or not. Bryan's the complete opposite. Bryan's more confident than he's ever been. He's coming in, he's beating everyone. He's beating everyone different ways. Also, Rusev has a built-in weakness, which is just his neck. You just target his neck in the match, and that's that's how you wear him down. But anyway, sorry, James. That just
it's a great point. It's a great point. Thank you for raising it. And I guess my second reason for thinking Bryan and not Miro is, look, we all know that the plans changed because Moxley was supposed to be in this slot. But if they wanted Miro to be potentially the only way I see Miro winning is if Hangman wins the title, because they're not going to do Miro versus Kenny. It just doesn't make sense. So if they wanted Miro to be Hangman's first title defense, they would have put him in the tournament already. Like he wouldn't be a substitute. They wanted Hangman's first defense to be against not a knock on Miro, but an A-list talent, and that would have either been Moxley or Bryan.
And see, I think Mox wins that as well.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think Mox was going to beat Bryan, but I think if you're going to have to change plans if Hangman wins, Bryan is a hell of a first defense for Hangman. And I'd rather see Bryan's first loss be against the champion than get against a substitute in a tournament.
I have a hot take that I want to happen. It's fantasy booking. I want the Legends to lose and then form a tag team.
Bryan and Punk. I feel like we're building towards that tag team one way or the other, or at the very least a Mega Powers situation.
As Danny said, Punk has been, implying it for the last month since he's been back.
We'll see. I think that's more going to them facing each other than a tag team.
Or that.
That's just me.
I think it's going to be both.
Yeah, I think it's going to be both. I think we're going to get a Y2AJ situation. And
I want all the smoke.
4K
no, I think it's going to be even weirder. I think they're going to win the tag titles and then have a singles match despite that while they're still tag champs.
Oh, I'm with that.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't have a problem with that. It sounded stupid in my head, but I said it out loud. I'm like, I like that actually.
When trolling becomes good booking, I love it. I'm going to stick with Bryan. But that's just probably me being a fanboy. But if Miro wins, I am very happy for him. He does deserve the spotlight as well.
I think when trolling becomes good booking was Bischoff's slogan when he got the Outsiders. I've been letting you guys go because I'm still trying to make a decision here. Because I think you guys are right. I think a lot of the results of this match ties into the results of the World Championship match. Because you're right, James. I don't think Miro goes on to face Kenny. But I do think he could go on to face Hangman. And I definitely thought heel Moxley, was going to beat Bryan and go on to face Hangman. So now I'm in a bit of a bind here. Do I stick with my prediction where the heel is going to go on to face Hangman? And I guess I'm kind of ruining my pick for later. But
come on, Rev.
But Bryan going against him is also a great match. And even though it's not really a heel face thing, Bryan's just kind of Bryan at this point. He just wants to go out, kick ass, and be good at it. The other thing that I've been mulling over is tonight on commentary, they made a pretty big to-do about the fact that Bryan has been wrestling a lot.
That's true.
Yeah, and against very good opponents. Bobby Fish and Rocky tonight, and he had that match against Kingston, which was an absolute banger. But it took a lot out of him, at least in kayfabe. So they were making a big to-do about that. And they were also mentioning the fact, I'm still running through this in my head. They were also
stalling for time.
Yeah. I'm trying to make points here. Like, they were also talking about the fact that Miro hasn't wrestled. He's wrestled, I think, the one match since he lost the TNT title.
He's fresh. Come to the dark side, Rev. Come on.
So my pick here has been the heel, and I think Miro is a good enough dude to beat Danielson, but damn it, James, you're right about him losing on his first pay-per-view. Fuck.
It's hard.
Pass was a good option. Damn.
The good thing about this... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to take Miro. I'm going with my gut again.
No. I mean, it makes sense as a pick. And the good thing about this match is if they do what they did last year, it's going to start the show. So our stress is going to be over really quickly. I get it. I think if they do, I think the big thing is if Miro wins, we know who wins the championship match. If Bryan wins, it could be either of them. And it leaves that mystery open.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Damn. All right. Let's move on.
This is a good thing. I said it earlier. How cool is it that we have?
We should have saved this for last,
right?
I reserve the right to change my pick before this ends. All right.
Look, I'm perfectly fine with being wrong. I actually welcome it because then I'm even more thoroughly entertained.
Yeah. There's not much that I would be mad about being wrong about on this card.
Right.
Except for this next match.
And this next match being the AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going up against Ty Conti. James, that's your girl there. You and your peaches. Who do you think is going to win this match?
Ooh. All right. My heart says Ty is going to win because I think I think as a babyface, she could really lead that division and it'll open up some really fun matches moving forward. My head says Britt is still the best talent on that roster, on that roster in that division right now, and she's going to win. And she's going to retain. I think either is a good option. I think, yeah, I'm going to stick with Britt. Always bet on Britt.
All right, Danny?
I can't believe you had to mull that over for that long, James. It's definitely going to be Britt. No disrespect. I guess technically disrespect to say, but I don't mean it like that. But she's not ready. I think they've done a great job of slowly building her and showing how far she's coming since she left NXT to come here. And I think one day she will be that person, but that day is not now. There's, especially when, again, you haven't done the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match for the title. I don't think, whether Britt loses the Thunder Rosa or not, I don't think you can enter title reign before that match happens. It's Britt all day.
So after Chad and Nick go, I have a question for Danny then.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Chad, I guess you go then.
Danny, again, this time he didn't change my mind. He just read it. I want Conti to win because I love her for many reasons. However, I don't see Britt losing this until Thunder Rosa, or however, that's how I want it to be. So I've made up in my mind that she's not losing the title until it's against Thunder.
Yeah, I agree with both Danny and Chad here. You gotta give the people what they want, and the people want that Thunder Rosa title match. And I still think it's a little too early in Britt's reign to have her lose it, although I'm kind of losing track of how long her reign has been. But it's just not. Yeah, but it's just not time yet, I don't think. So I'm gonna take Dr. Britt Baker DMD here. James, su pregunta.
So if Britt retains, which you guys made a good argument for, who does Britt lose the title to? Does it have to be Thunder? Because she's beaten everybody else.
It doesn't have to be, but I would love for it to be.
The debuting Ember Moon. No, I'm kidding.
Oh shit.
I mean, it could be.
Unironically, that'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, what would she go back to being Athena? Like, if she came in, but it could be to her. They can do the Ruby Soho match again because, according to Tony Khan, she came in and set the women's division on fire. So
yeah, he's really big on her.
Yeah,
she sounded like it in that interview.
And you know what? She deserves to be champion. And again, I feel like I'm the one flying this flag, but I think it could be Chris Statlander too. I think they've they've positioned everyone in the best friends, or really just her, Cassidy, and Trent, to be big time players in their respective divisions, without being over the top about it. Otherwise, yeah, they got work. They got work to do to build up credible contenders for Britt. But right now, Ty Conti is not it.
It's Thunder.
Months from now, maybe, but.
If I could pick a left field participant, I would absolutely love for Deanna to come over now.
God, yes.
Yeah, if Deanna came over, that's a great shout.
That would be amazing. Just to build her for a few months, and that would be perfect. If not Thunder.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody else too. Honestly, I would love to look at all the women in the tournament, the TBS tournament, just to see, because I feel like it's got to be one of them, and there's a lot of good talent in there. But even if it's not Thunder who wins, they need to have that match. Like, everyone wants to see it so bad.
How much does it suck? Ruby's not even on the card for this.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, you know what she's been doing the last few episodes?
Holding Eddie Kingston back
holding Eddie
by
Kingston
herself.
back. I don't know why or how that's a thing, but I do like the.
I love it.
Yeah,
I do too. I do too.
Because it ties into what I just said with the like Paige stuff and the intergender stuff. It's like, yeah, it's like Ruby. I don't know. I guess she has like some off-screen connection with Eddie Kingston where she can actually talk him down like off the ledge and like actually like, gets him when he's angry.
She's
the
Eddie
sun's
Kingston
getting
whisperer.
real low. The sun's getting real low, big guy.
Yep. Everyone has that person where if they just talk to them and they like calm down. She's the Eddie Kingston whisperer. She can just get in there and be like, "All right, Eddie." He's like, "Okay."
Because it doesn't feel like a jobber who has to hold back people during the brawls. It feels like someone is like, God, no one else can do it, so I have to do this. Like I have to stop Eddie Kingston. Like,
yeah, it's always a bunch of jobbers and Charlie from Sammy's vlog. All right, last match on the card here. AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. The cleaner, the best bout machine, the god of pro wrestling. Good Lord, it is late, ladies and gentlemen. The god of pro wrestling, Kenny Omega, against Hangman Adam Page. We talked about this on the pod that will be coming out around the same time as this. The build for this match has been over 2 years in the making. I am so excited for it. Chad, who do you think comes out of this AEW World Champion?
This is, for me, the hardest because the little itty bitty piece of doubt that I have that cowboy shit can't win this still reigns supreme in my mind. It can really literally go either way. But I want Cowboy to win. I need Cowboy to win. I think Cowboy will win.
Danny.
Hold on. I'm going to flip a coin on my phone real quick. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I think we all have that, like, that seed of doubt that maybe this won't be the time because there is that enticing story of the chase. Like, the cliche of wrestling is that the chase is always better than the title reign, and I don't necessarily always believe that. Like, I am one who enjoys title reigns that not everyone else enjoys, but I don't know. How much longer can they put it off with Hangman? You know, like he lost the original match for the title. He lost to Kenny at this pay-per-view a year ago. Him and the Dark Order lost that tag match, which I think is by design to supplement him losing his first title opportunity against Kenny. Instead of doing that, I think they had him lose the match to get an opportunity at the title to offset that so that they can tell that story without having to do the match again and have him lose again. So I'm gonna go with Hangman, but I'm not 100%. I'm like 60-40 Hangman.
James.
Fuck.
Why does Kenny retain, James?
All right. In a vacuum, where Hangman and Kenny is the only story at play here, Hangman wins. If there are no outside circumstances, no outside potential opponents, whatever comes in the future, take all that away, Hangman wins this. It's not even a question. It's the end of the hero's journey. He's finally, Danny, you said it well, all those losses, including that tag team loss, which is definitely meant to feel like a fill-in for his first title, like the first shot at the title. It's Hangman's time to get it back. That said, I think there is too much money in big matches Kenny can have with other people for him to lose the title to Hangman right now. I think no matter what, Hangman is the person to take the title off Kenny. But I think we might have to wait like another 6 months, or I don't know. Like, Hangman did a beautiful job of comparing this story to what Kenny went through in Japan. And in Japan, it took Kenny a long friggin' time to win the title off Kazuchika Okada, who got name dropped tonight, folks.
Side eye emoji.
But I don't see Hangman. I don't see AEW taking as long to tell this story as what New Japan did. I think it makes more sense for the company to have Hangman win and then to have the match with Bryan, or for did I say Hangman? Kenny. It makes more sense for Kenny to retain and to have the match with Bryan, or to have a match potentially with a surprise New Japan guy. I think there's a lot more money there, but I think it's Hangman's time. I think it's Hangman's time. I know I'm not really giving I'm not really giving an answer, but I guess Hangman, but like if you told me Kenny wins, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense too. You know, that makes sense.
I agree. I think one of the things that's pushing me towards Hangman especially is that I think if they don't do it now, then, because you said like Hangman has to be the one taking off Kenny, I think if he doesn't do it now,
he doesn't do
it's
it.
going to go to a Bryan or a Punk. It's going to go to a bigger name because, you know, as great as the Hangman story has been, Punk and Bryan are bigger names, and you know it's hard to not want to put a title on them.
Yeah.
So I think the longer you wait, the more likely it is they are to fall into that trap. Whereas if you just do it now,
yeah,
you know,
you get it out of the way, and then one of those guys could take the title off him whenever.
Right.
Yeah.
And one thing I got to give AEW, they've learned a lot from the mistakes of other companies. If you look at Ring of Honor, who had some of the best talent in the world, one of their biggest faults was they never knew when to strike while the iron was hot with talent and would put a title on a guy way too late. I don't think AEW would do that. And looking at WWE, who care way more about shocking their audience than actually giving the audience what they want, AEW has long ago showed that they care about giving fans a happy resolution. And I think as much as there's still potential for this story, I think we're going to get that happy fairy tale ending for Hangman here.
Yeah, I got to agree. I think it's time to pull the trigger on Hangman as champion. Everything is just it's perfect. It's come together perfectly. I think the crowd is completely behind him, and I don't know if I was AEW, I would want to risk having this go further and starting to lose them. I think it would take a lot for that to happen, because I think at this point the fan base has a lot of faith in AEW and their booking, but Hangman is just so perfectly over right now. He's finally come into himself as a character within, you know, the story, because obviously his character work has always been really good, and it just seems like it's his time to win. So he's winning, and I'm going to be really, really happy that our anxious millennial cowboy is champion.
Hey.
All right. Well, before we go, I'm going to spring something on you guys. Anybody have any Super Bowl predictions about something happening? Maybe some sort of shenanigans? Anybody showing up? Anybody got anything?
Anybody
think Okada's going to show up?
I kind of think we get a New Japan person or two.
I don't
know who though.
I don't think a New Japan person shows up unless Kenny wins. Like I don't see Hangman having his big celebration and then Okada comes out. You know, like what's the point? The only New Japan person I could see coming out if Hangman wins is Jay White. Because they were both at one point the future of Bullet Club. and then obviously it went in Jay's direction. But yeah, I think a New Japan person is only if Kenny wins. I think if Hangman wins, we have a good shot of seeing Wyndham Rotunda. FKA Bray Wyatt.
See, as awesome as that would be, I think you just gotta let him have the feel good moment. Like, you don't gotta. We've been waiting too long for it. I think you kind of diminish it by going for any sort of shenanigans like that. But that being said, if they did it, I'd probably enjoy it. So, you know. But my bold prediction for the show is that earlier in the night, Darby Allen is going to be, you know, backstage with Sting, and they're going to bump into Arn Anderson. And then later on, when Darby's having his match with MJF, he's going to be like, oh, so you think I'm a school shooter, huh? And he's going to pull out Arn's Glock, and he's going to shoot MJF. And that's how he picks up the win. And the ref obviously will be looking the other way when this happens. So, you know, he won't disqualify him.
Well, if Aubrey Edwards is there, hopefully Danhausen will call her and you know, tell her what happens.
I love Danhausen because of y'all. So thank you. I looked him up last week and I've been watching nonstop.
You're welcome, Chad Housen. And hopefully, I hope Danhausen gets better soon from his broken leg housing, because I want to see him in AEW ASAP. All right, we're about out of time here, so I want to thank everybody for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Danny still has that running bet with James, where if we get to 100 subscribers, James will rap.
It's not a bet. He promised he'd do it.
So that's that. Be sure to check out the social medias. They'll be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Enjoy Full Gear this weekend and have a good one.